Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is beat that like button like it owes you money before watching this, so it reaches a wider audience. Also, before I get on with the memes, first a word from today's sponsor, the MGTOW Book Collection Part 2. Whether you're getting camel toe in Cambodia, banging babes in burqas in Turkey, or taking Polaroids of ladyboys in Thailand, Luca Vendetti has a series of books to make you live the dream. His new 3-booklet series includes How to Live on $500 a Month in Cambodia, Turkey, and Vietnam, in addition to his classic How to Retire on $200K in Southeast Asia. He also has the MGTOW book. Visit MGTOWbooks.com and use the promo code SANDMAN to get 10% off. Now available in 4 formats: PDF, Mobi for Kindle, EPUB, and text-to-speech MP3. Sponsor link is down below. And now on with the memes. Number 1, Brooke says that her kids keep going up to strangers and saying daddy, so she thought it would be a good idea if she found one for them. Yeah, good luck with that. You're obese raising a African as a single mother. What man with high standards in his right mind is going to want to be with you? Besides, what happened to the daddy that the kid had? Why don't they see each other anymore? If you add up all those tattoos and being on disability support, the amount of bad decisions in just this one photo is absolutely astonishing. Moving on, this Chinese gymnast reacts to the Italian one that won medals by also biting down on hers. Gentlemen, may I present to you the female hive mind? They all tend to play follow the leader really well, like a good little NPC. Independent thought is difficult for them, and that's why they compensate by constantly telling men just how independent they are. She's Asian, so the hardware might be different, but the software is the same. Number 3, little Forrest here asks his mother why his name keeps changing when he introduces her to different men. You know that Jenny is the villain in Forrest Gump. Growing up, we just thought that she was a normal girl, but she was just trying to get her hands on that shrimp boat money and leave Forrest to be a single dad with AIDS. Jenny is a perfect example of women waiting at the finish line for the winners. The red pill has ruined Forrest Gump for me. What other movies has it done the same to? Up next, here's the perfect picture of a black family. How much you want to bet that she groomed the son? Then again, maybe it was the daughter. Elon Musk is more black than her by the same logic. I bet you're all amazed at how well behaved the family looks when the father sticks around. Well, then again, maybe I was wrong after seeing this. Number 5, Candace says that if she's paying for the landlord's mortgage, then shouldn't she be part owner? Matt says this reminds me of the time when he bought a Big Mac and became the CEO of McDonald's. This is socialist logic for you. Renters can bail at any time, but the owner is on the hook for the debt. It's another case of women wanting rights without responsibilities. They just want the reward with none of the risk. Then again, by this same logic, my car payment should at least put me on the board of directors at Volkswagen. Moving on, here's the difference between how men and women see the world after a breakup. The guy thinks he's going to have tons of action but ends up lonely at home, while women think that they're going to be all alone, but in reality, they'll be surrounded by dudes. The bottom line is men are optimistic after a breakup while women are pessimists. Then again, I think that most women know that life post-breakup will be like the bottom right image. They just pretend it's going to be lonely because they're looking for sympathy and attention. Number 7 is Chantel, and she has an IQ of 127, but says it doesn't translate well into her dating life, as she has a bun in the oven now. Girls like this need to really stop taking their IQ tests from the Vogue magazine. I bet that the father also has a room temperature IQ. She also kind of reminds me of a burnt sienna crayon. Also, as for that bun in her oven, I bet you that it's burnt too. This has to be proof that IQ isn't an accurate measure of intelligence. Up next, Emily says that as long as you're not producing children, there's nothing wrong with incest. The push to make incest socially acceptable and legal is increasing, and it's rather worrying. Is she holding that in her hand because she's going to whack her cousin over the head for mating purposes or something? With that Habsburg jawline, she definitely looks like a product of incest. Number 9, remember guys, that this so-called lady was having orgies, while most guys couldn't even get a text message back from women on Tinder. Also, let's not forget that she had great financial power as well, and was literally handed over hundreds of millions of dollars of other people's money for free to trade on leverage, and she lost it all. Here I also think I found her perfect looks match. Moving on, I hope that everyone is praying for JD Vance because he has the same female Secret Service agent that couldn't holster her piece properly during the ending attempt on Donald Trump. But how is she still employed, you ask? Well, because of vagina. Either that or her daddy owns the company. But I bet you anything she's going to sue the Secret Service because they demoted her to the vice presidential candidate. If they fired her, then they would be under fire. I would love to see her try and run a lap, though. Number 11, someone says that a man that faps off to a woman he knows in real life without her consent, then that's considered telepathic rape. I'm sure putting cameras in every man's house to make sure he doesn't do that is the only solution. Not to mention hooking our brains up to Neuralink. Now, not only is it no longer safe to talk to women, but also look at them or even think about them. I've said before that men would eventually have to wear the equivalent of a burqa on their heads that covers their eyes so that women wouldn't be offended and thus charge them with that telepathic rape. Up next, imagine being friend-zoned by Kristen here, as her husband. She says she's happily married, but if the right person shows up, her husband is on board and there could actually be more going on. Not only that, but she's a lucky pick. Looks like Facebook Singles is now at the top of the trash heap. What's her husband going to do after he says yes? Sit in the cuck chair while you make her squeal. Number 13, if you want to know who the real racists in America are, it's the white liberals that dumb themselves down when they speak to black people. Yet black people are still voting for them, so I guess treating them in that way is definitely helping their cause. It needs to stop for the sake of America, but it probably won't. But I don't believe this headline with white liberals dumbing themselves down. How is that even possible? Aren't they already rock bottom? Moving on, most men these days won't stop to help a woman change a tire. Good. Because we're told a woman can do anything a man can. Helping women is like playing Russian roulette for men. You never know when a good deed will be punished, so you say, why bother? If only someone would create a company where a man could go out and change the tire for a small fee. Oh, that's right. There's the AAA. As for all other men, only misogynists would assume that a woman needs help. Number 15, this woman says that if a man finds out the kids aren't his, he should keep that information away from those kids and continue his fatherly duties. That he should imagine how traumatizing it would be if he told the truth. But what about the man? Isn't he traumatized at finding out that he's been cucked raising another man's brood? But if they aren't your kids, just leave without saying a word, so you don't traumatize the children and let her go out and find the real father. Don't be that simp. Up next, this guy finds a woman that says she needs someone to talk to. He says hi and then she says not you. But in reality, she wouldn't even respond. She would either ignore him, or if she had some extra energy, she would just block him and never tell him why. Because after all, this woman is waiting for Chad to text her and not you, the chud. Remember, she said someone and not everyone. But I think all guys need to stop talking to her and just let her pay for a therapist instead. Number 17, now you have to worry about predatory female police officers going after your kids. This one abused a girl between the ages of 13 and 15, and she didn't even go to jail after doing that. Another example of double standards in the injustice system. You know that in the end, even though this incident was between two women, it will still somehow get blamed on male privilege. This is a case of the system protecting its own kind. Moving on, whenever you see the main picture of a woman on a dating profile and she's with her friends, you know to assume instantly that she's the largest lass and the least attractive. So the best thing you can do is contact her and ask her if one of her thinner and more attractive friends are single instead. She might either block you immediately, yell at you, or even try and date you because you have the nerve to ask such a question. In this case, why even bother? Because even the skinny ones here are pretty ugly. Number 19, here's probably one of Bree's other pictures in her dating profile, saying that she was crying on the bus and a 5-year-old boy sat next to her and said, "You're crying because you're fat, right?" But we all know this never happened and women just love making things up like this so they get our sympathy. But if that story isn't made up, which I highly doubt, then that kid is going places in life. Up next, the government in the UK has gone bonkers, saying that if you post things online that incite hatred, it can be illegal. Even telling the truth if it incites hatred can now be considered a crime by the leftoids that have taken over the government in the UK. This British man literally wrote an entire book, 1984, warning everyone about stuff like this. Yes, the truth is revolutionary when it threatens those in power and makes them look bad. Number 21, even Fox has swallowed the woke Kool-Aid these days, saying that being a mom is equivalent to working 2.5 full-time jobs. Sure, it's a lot of effort and tiring taking care of kids if you're a crazy Karen helicopter parent. The only reason they're saying this now is because they want to compensate for it through alimony and child support money. Maybe even government handouts. They want to make it hard so that they come out as victims and get more goodies from men. Moving on, Trump has never had to face someone with Kamala Harris's raw talent before. Talented what? Hawk too. Hillary Clinton was at least a smart and vicious lizard lady. Kamala is going to get turned into mincemeat in the debate. Joe Rogan says that she's smart. But I don't know how smart she is considering that she wants to impose price controls on food companies when their profit margins are already in the low single digits. If she does that, then there'll be food shortages. Number 23, speaking of Hawk 2, we have an Asian massage place. And someone is wondering if it's legal for them to put that term down on their window as an extra for $50 massages. It probably isn't legal, but that's okay. Because the cops will come in and get Hawk 2 for free anytime they like, and if they don't, then they'll shut it down. Unless they're female cops. Then they'll shut it down because they can't have men enjoying anything anymore. Up next, this married pastor quit the church to become a lonely fool's model after coming out as queer, saying that this is her new calling. Remember, anything for money and attention is their motto. The trad woman grift wasn't working, so she decided to go for something else. Now she has a new flock of simps putting money in her donation plate. In Jesus' name, give me money. Now for $10.99, you can watch me pop this taco. Number 25 and the last one is Jenna Ortega based by saying that Hollywood is too politically correct and it makes people lose integrity. I think she sees that the winds of change are blowing in the other direction, and that once the woke get thrown out of the studios in coming years, she will always look like she was on the right side and therefore will be able to choose from the best roles Hollywood has to offer. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoyed this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links below. It really helps. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.